What's cracking, guys? How you all doing? Welcome back to another Monday night. It is post Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. If you're here to hang out, talk Hondas, just go over, doing stuff on your Monday night. I hope you had a happy Father's Day to all the Honda fathers out there. Let's get in this. What's cracking, guys? Welcome back to yet again another episode of the Honda Recap. If you could do me a solid and hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and do me a favor and leave a comment right now saying what up right now. Let's boost these comments up and those likes. It absolutely helps me grow the channel and, get more people in here and involved on a weekly basis as we go through this. So if you guys can do me a solid and hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up and that bell so you're notified every Monday night at 6 p.m. when this airs West Coast time. What's up to all you guys out there in the Midwest and on the East Coast that are out here 8, 9-ish o'clock. I think that's the difference, right? About 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't remember anymore. What's up, guys? How are you all doing? Welcome back to another Monday night Honda Recap. We're here yet again. Like I said, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. I hung out with my dad for a while. I was brought home in a Porsche. Now, I'm not saying like, oh shit, Christian was brought home in a Porsche. My dad had a Porsche a long time ago. We're talking like 35 years ago, my dad had a Porsche. He brought me home. Story has it, legend has it, he had to bring me home and then go back to the hospital to get my mom home because he only had one seat. So that's kind of tight, right? But 35 years later, my dad finally bought himself a new Porsche because, I don't know, it was just about time. Found a good deal and said, you know what, I'm going to buy myself a Porsche. So happy Father's Day to my dad, man, because I'm juiced for you, dude. You just got yourself a little 911, a little Carrera action, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely still a Honda guy, and I'm not going to lie. My dad did take a picture, send it to me, and said, hey, when do you want to start messing with adult cars? Whew, low blow, Pops. True story. Anyways, so happy Father's Day to all you guys right there. But I wanted to kick this off, actually that roll into our new topic, which is why is the first time and only time and when big channels do car reviews that they always start out saying, remember, Hondas are always everybody's first car because they're cheap. I get they're cheap. We all get they're cheap. We all get and understand, quote unquote, they're cheap to mod. At some point, they're not cheap to mod. They're not cheap to mod, right? We've seen these builds already. We've talked about them in the past. 10, 15, 20, $50,000 builds. Sure. It's completely different than buying a cheap Honda. But do we really have to talk about the price? Why can't we talk about the drive, the want, the heart, the group, the community, the love? Why can't that be first? I think we need to start changing the narrative right there. When we see these channels and they're like, I'm driving so-and-so's EK, I'll get to that channel, but we're driving that channel's EK's, 400 horsepower EK hatchback. And then they go right into talking about Hondas and why people love them, and they always start with cheap. Bothers me. Really bothers me, I'm not going to lie to you. It bothers me. For lack of a better term, it really grinds my gears when people start with cheap. Because when I bought the Civic, it was because I had other friends with Civics. And I thought if I was going to get a car, I should get a car that are like my friends, but different. That's where last week when we talked about the different chassis and stuff like that. But that's why I got into it. And I guess I can see I don't have a lot of money. I'll just buy a Civic. Well, I don't know. I think the drive to get a Civic is more than just the price. At least that's my opinion. At least I want to believe that getting into the Civics would be that kind of thing. So a lot of people could buy a bucket and a lot of people can buy a really, really nice one, right? I mean, there's CRXs right now that kind of look beat, but they're still going for $6,000, and that's crazy. It's crazy because we've seen the prices for EM1s and ITRs and these 90 Legends or 90s era Hondas are going for a lot of money right now. And it's just man, what is that to say for finding old cars? Because we see it, we drive on the freeway and you see a guy driving the car and the guy's easily probably 60 years old and he's driving a hatch, a CRX. I one time saw an older woman, she had to be around 65 in a yellow CRX SI on the freeway randomly. And I'm just what? How long has she had this car? Because there's no way she just bought it, right? She probably bought the car new and was just I'm going to upkeep this entire time. Maybe, but I mean, how many 65-year-old women are out there buying like, you know, a 1992 CRX SI and it looks that good. Either she knows or she knew and she still knows. But I'm going with she wanted a sporty, fun, small commuter car in 1994 or 2, and then that's the one she got. And that's how those exist, you know? And so now you're just sitting there like, how do I find that car? And we're justifying the cost that you could buy that car for like $8,000 now. And you're like, it's just like, okay, it's what it is. It's what it is. And most of us will sit here and agree with you. Like, I think that's just what it's worth now. We're all willing to pay for that because the price of thing is really just based off, you know, like what people are willing to pay. And I think at this point, you're definitely willing to pay a lot of money for a clean, untouched Civic. You know what I mean? And so when it comes down to it, do you really think that people get into Hondas because they're cheap? Or do you think they really get into Hondas because the community and it's fun and they want to modify something? But I guess we could also argue that if you're going to modify, you're going to modify it because it's cheaper to modify. But I think we're also getting to the point now where if you're looking at Hondas and you're going to want to modify, the price tag on the things that you're going to want to buy are not that cheap. So this is why I really get into the fact that it really kind of grinds my gears that the first topic at all times is the fact that people really want to stress the fact that, oh, Hondas are cheap. You're driving around, 400 horsepower, B16, B18, EK hatch, looking super clean, and it's just like, oh, you know, I got it because it was really cheap at the time, and then I learned to love it. No, I think you bought it because you wanted to dump a lot of money into it, and I think that's why a lot of us buy it. I'll be real, and I'm looking at you in the face right now. With that said, guys, I wanted to jump right here and tell you, hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in yet again. If you or you know somebody that wants to sponsor the Honda Recap, definitely let me know in the comments below and or send me an email, thehondavlogs@gmail.com. Get your ad right here. Talk about your new product or website or something that you're very interested in that you want to get in front of this community because I'm trying to help you and I'm trying to help us. I want to find new people building really awesome stuff for this community, for just the Honda world in general, this community right here. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up in the comments or via email, thehondavlogs@gmail.com or @HondaVlogs on Instagram. We'll throw that out there right now. But yeah, I know. When I was watching this review and I was just kind of like, why are always people starting with the price? And I know it's probably not really something I need to be bothered about or anybody else is probably bothered about, but maybe it does bug you. Maybe you love it so much that you're just kind of like, why can't we just want to buy the car because we love the car, you know? But I'm not going to lie to you. I had a couple friends, they all had Hondas. I decided, you know what, I'm going to buy a Honda. So what did I do? Obviously, I bought one. I bought a 1994 EJ1 EX. I bought it from a nurse. I remember this because she barely drove the car. The car was just insanely clean. But when I bought the car, battery was dead. We were able to jump it, and I had to drive it the whole way home by never letting off the gas, because if I let off the gas, the car would die. So I had to drive from like San Jose to where I live currently to not let the car die, which was crazy because then you'd get to a stop sign and you'd have to literally put in the clutch, keep on the gas, stop with the e-brake, and then let off again. Luckily, when you're on the freeway, you're not really stopping, you know what I'm saying? But then you had to get off the freeway, slow down, and I don't know if you guys have ever done that. Basically, the battery was dead. You're running the entire car off kind of the battery, but mainly the alternator, which isn't, you know, probably in hindsight, probably not that good. But the reason I bought the car is because I had a couple friends that had Hondas already. And I swear to you, when I had it, I was thrilled. And at the time, you could go to like Kragen, and they used to have APC, American Parts Brand Company or something like that. And you can go down the import aisle and you could buy a tube with a Spectre. It wasn't even a Spectre. Now they're Spectre. Before, whatever there was. Just a cone filter and a tube. And like that was your intake, right? You used to be able to literally buy coilovers in a box and stuff like that from Kragen. You can't do that anymore. That doesn't really exist. Now they have like chrome trim and stuff in like the import aisle. That's where we've gone. But that was my first car, and I was in love with it because the community was there and I wanted to be in the community. And then later I started to realize, like, hey guys, how do we make more power? Like, I think I've said this before, I don't know, but like I literally thought you could just, you know, twist the idle screw or something and like boost it and give yourself more horsepower that way. I didn't know what I was doing, but I really loved the fact that like I had friends that were into the cars. I had a pretty clean one at the time. I was able to own one. I could drive stick when I first started driving because I grew up on a ranch, so I had to learn to drive tractors. So that, you know, kind of moved over, except the tractor has a lot more torque than a Civic. Like, you know, a lot more. But with that said, that was always my drive, and that's why maybe that's where I'm at in life, where I'm just kind of like, cool, it wasn't that cheap at the time, but I was in it for the love and the passion and just like seeing all the guys in the parking lot at night and wanting to be a part of that somehow, some way. So that really what got me into the Honda world, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I guess that's why it bugs me when you're like, if you're gonna review a car that someone put their heart and soul in, if you say things like, people want to get into this because it's cheap, hey, maybe you just don't know what the scene's about and you're not in it. So that's your first impression of a Honda. All right, guys, with that said, I wanted to bring in stuff from the comments like I did last week, talking about you guys and some of your comments out there, kind of talking about, you know, where you came from, your first loves, and how you got into the scene and why you're still into the scene. So I kind of want to read some of those out loud, and when I talk on the spot, it's really weird because I'm just like, all right, my bad, I'm having to like read these at the same time, so bear with me. But there's a couple in here that I really enjoyed reading, and I think a lot of people are going to actually enjoy them as well. So starting out, we got Cesar Hernandez. So we got, the first time I got stationed in Japan, I found a 98 DB8R, and sadly parted it out before leaving because I couldn't bring it back to the States with me. It sucks, dude. I was on a mission and had to get another DB8 when I got back. I found it, and sadly it got stolen twice when I lived in Vegas. I hate thieves. I was able to recover it both times. I got the opportunity to get stationed back in Japan and gained another DC2 SIRG. Sweet. Still own it, but not the same love. Now I'm here in Germany and came across a 96 DB8R, and let me tell you, my love is back. Now that it's going to be old enough to bring it back, it's something I'll keep forever. I plan to bring both. I plan to bring both back, and the plans when I get back gets me excited. That's awesome, dude. And these are the kind of stories I love, you know, and I think other people love too. You found the car, you loved it, you maybe lost touch, you couldn't bring it back with you, you know, and then you found another one, and that starts the drive, you know what I mean? You found one chassis and you loved it and you couldn't stop and you kept going back and forth and back and forth. You didn't try nothing else. You knew what you wanted right off the bat. And obviously I've heard a lot of people say the DB8s, and obviously if you got a Type R, it probably just solidifies. I mean, you got the creme de la creme of Integras, so why skirt around and go somewhere else, you know what I mean? So that's fucking awesome, dude. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Next up, we got from DJ Icon right here. My first Honda was a 95 Civic DH hatch that I LS swapped. I had one of those too. I always bounce between Hondas and DSMs. Not everyone's perfect. Just saying. I'm kidding. As much as I love the EG hatch, my favorite Hondas are the EF hatch, sedan, and Del Sol. Currently building my 95 Del Sol, planning on building 350 to 400 horsepower D-Series and do what I can to restore the body to the OEM and go little OEM plus track style with it. Having a ton of fun with it so far, and I'm super glad I picked up my Del Sol. I'm super glad you did too, man. I'm really glad that you're into Trance and Del Sol. I actually hit you up in the past, so super excited we got that in common. But EF chassis, Civic, Del Sol. See what I mean? It's still a Civic. You found the Civic. Everyone loves the EF hatch, though. If you've ever had the chance to get one or buy one, that's the one to get, dude. It's literally the one to get. Mwah! But the sedan is really nice, too. The EF sedan, that one's really nice. Really, really nice, too. Anyways, moving on, guys. Following that, we got Laurel Paxel Jr. First official car was my dad's 05 EP3. Not a bad car, but you see what I mean? You started with a K. Fell apart and rebuilt it from the ground up. Went through 13 motors with that car. Made a name for myself with that car. Learned a lot from it. Many DIYs I did with that car. Hey, man, let me tell you, that's a lot of engines. You know what I mean? You're actually under Zosh, but that's a lot of engines. But the most part is you kept trying, you kept going, and the love made you keep going, and that's what I'm talking about, dude. I'm really excited. Thank you for leaving that comment, dude. I really appreciate you. Following that, we got Ramon Briones. My neighbor was a Honda salesman. In 1991, he brought back a black CRX SI to his house because he would have to drive different vehicles from the dealership, and I was blown away. What a job. In 91? Woo! God. Around 96, I got my first CRX and never looked back. I've owned 4 and I've had one since 2003 and never letting that bad boy go. I got stuck in favor in 99 and below, but a CRX platform is my all-time favorite. That's just a legit platform, dude. That's a legit platform. You see what I mean? The CRX, it grabs you and you keep going, man. Thank you for sharing that story as well. All right, we got AJ Imports, another awesome channel, I will say that. I was 100% a Honda hater. Was all about the 96 Eclipse, which was my first car, but took a chance and purchased the 93 Accord to learn how to build a motor. Got bit by the bug. Have owned over a few, now building the ultimate dream CB7 H22 Turbo and a few extras. He is, and on his channel, he's showing you how he's going to do that. So that's really cool. And I will say this, guys, that DSMs, Diamond Star motors, the Eclipses, the GSXs, the Fast and the Furious ones, but the old ones like the TSIs, man, dude, those were the ones too. And I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, DSM basically grabbed a lot of people as well for the import scene, because while even though it was technically like an import scene, it got a lot of American like muscle cars in it too, because they were putting down power, all-wheel drive. The body style still looked like the MK2 Supras, maybe the MK3 Supras, somewhere around there, but it was a really cool body style and an awesome era for cars. I'm not gonna lie, the 80s was a really weird one. Early 90s, when things started to transition over, was like a wild west of body lines, you know what I mean? Like Honda always did square, but then they started to round and out, and we got the 92 EG with the bubbles, but then everything else still wanted that sleek kind of Dodge stealth look, and that's also how the TSI looked. That's also how every other car started to look, you know? So I really understand why a lot of people really enjoyed the DSM market, but then also kind of fled into the Honda market. AJ Imports, definitely check it out. All right, last but not least, right here, we got Dash in Cars. If you're not watching this guy, you should actually. I need to include him a lot more. He's doing an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive CRX 4 Rally. Actually, Hasport is out there actually helping him out, got him some mounts. But we got this. I think you know the answer for me, the EE4 Civic Wagon. He has one. It's actually really nice. One car that I would never be without, never selling my two. I just can't think of any more perfect time for me. Early 90s, tech, a really beefy RT four-wheel drive system, came with the best D-Series motor, D16A6, actually a really good engine, just all around unique, weird, right up my alley. Won't lie to you, really awesome channel, really cool person, and awesome build. But like I said, everybody that I've talked about tonight, there's a bunch more people in the last video, so I really would love for you guys to hop into that last video too. Hit up the comments. I bet you have a lot of things you guys can share. And this week, I guess I really wanted to throw your way is, why do you think most people's first reaction is Hondas are cheap? Be brutally honest, I know why. Honestly, I think I know why a lot of people think it, and we all kind of know it. But like, I really like to raise some awareness, so if anyone ever hops into this video and is just kind of like, what? I know why they're cheap. I want other people in the comments to be like, no, dude, it's more than just the price that keeps people here, that brings people here, and why this is still here. So, you know, thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for leaving comments. I love going over them, and like I said, I want to start sharing them on a weekly basis if I can, because this is what it's about, guys. This is what it's about. Leaving comments. I love interacting with you guys, being able to see your passion and just see how many of you out there are supporters of the recap. I love it, guys. I love it. All right, guys, with that said, I'm going to jump right into this week's recap to go over kind of what's going on from a high-level basis. There's a lot more people I can talk about. I know I'm trying to build this up. I want to kick this off with Zosh. If you guys know, he's been trying to put a flex fuel sensor in Christina for quite some time. I think he's blown through 2 or 3 of them right now, but I think he finally got a new one, and he got some new exhaust for the DC5, which I'm actually really excited for, because I like DC5 content, you know, having one, watching people build them and stuff like that. I really enjoy it. And just seeing the progression of his channel and his cars and Randy and Mai and like all their buddies are trying to like push each other as best they can to build a little, you know, a really awesome friendship, but really 3 different cars, 3 different styles, and 3 different levels of just wow. Following that, we got PFI Speed with this S2000, one of the sickest builds we have right now on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, if you're following along, essentially long story short, PFI got a S2000 that was ready to go on the dyno. They found out later it was nowhere near ready to go on the dyno. Obviously, with a lot of stuff that's going on right now, PFI doesn't really have the bandwidth to take this project on at the level that it was, well, at the level that it became. So his buddy Cotterpin needed some work, or not needed some work, but like had some time to take on some work, and they've been taking this car apart this entire time. Motor-wise, functionally, short block, the motor was good. Everything attached to it and the car, terrible. The wiring came out, the intercoolers came out, all the piping, the turbo, everything came out of the car. Once they did that, they realized that the engine bay was just kind of like, it was a mess. It was just a mess. Honestly, it's just a mess. And if you're watching the channel, you actually know what's going on with it right now. In the latest video, they actually were able to hit it with some sand, took out all the paint, everything, found out there's a bunch of Bondo, terrible welds. I really feel bad for this guy who took his car somewhere and they did him like that, you know what I mean? But he's already kind of in the hole, I would assume. I know, you know, I'm not going to speak for the guy, but they're going to put a cage in it, I'm sure. They're going to redo the bay, paint it, get it all kind of set up, and just put it back into a better place and a better start. Some would admit, to be honest with you, you could go out and find another S2000 as a better chassis, but like at some point, you're like, this is my car. I'm in it. Let's win it. I'm trying to win races with it. I'm trying to make a bunch of power. I already have a power plant for it, and why give up now? And that's how this works, you know? You find a thing and you could have it just, it can be terrible. It can be terrible, but you know that at the end of the day, this is your car, and you're like, you know what? I gotta finish it. I can't give up. I gotta finish it, and this is just gonna be mine. So I'm really excited for this right now on the PFI Speed channel. It's going awesome right now, and congrats to you, Brent, out there from Cletus and Cars. Through the pay-per-view out there with Cletus, guys, I saw that giant trophy. Following that, we got Deadbeat Garage putting work on the DA9. His son is putting a lot of work in right there. There was a bunch of dimples in the engine bay. When they went to sand it, he wanted it to be super, super clean, so he went Bondoing everything, making this engine bay look as clean as the khaki Civic, because the level of cars that they're trying to put together is really awesome. And I love that it's a father and son build, and you're putting together everything you can to make it look as clean as possible. And it's really nice that, you know, your attention to detail, you're a bodywork guy, and on top of that, you're a really awesome painter. So everything that comes out of that garage is just really, really, really well put together, and I'm excited to see what comes up next. Following that, we got Young Static. If you guys have been following this guy, I actually know that he's trying to get this CRX to a track day, which is like a NorCal CRX group's track day. I didn't know that. It's in October at Thunder Hill. I'm really excited because you're finally going to track outside of the drag strip, but actually like circuit track at Thunder Hill. This KCRX, I'd be actually pretty juiced to head out there with you, man, because I love that track, and maybe I can get a car out there too if I can get my acts together. I don't know, maybe. But CRX, getting it going. He's not going to touch the other CRX. He wants this one to work. The K's in there. He's got a bunch of random parts that's going into right now, and that is his main focus. So if you've been following along, this man is almost at 100K. Congrats to you. If you haven't followed Young Static, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Please go do that. This man needs to get to 100K subscribers. If you can, just share it. Make your mom sign up. Make your mom make a YouTube account and throw him a subscribe is basically what I'm saying. But I'm really excited for you, man. I'd love to see that car finally get on the track, and maybe I'll be out there with you. Following that, we got Hunter Tuned. If you're not following Hunter Tuned, you absolutely should. This guy's been making videos for quite some time. He's one of those guys out there on YouTube that has used this platform to actually create and make a dream come true. At one time, Hunter was working in his garage, still working in his garage, taking customer cars, building, doing a lot of that stuff. Made a website, started selling a bunch of stuff, started doing a lot more work, was able to buy a shop. After that shop, he was able to buy another shop, and then once he did that, he was able to buy a dyno. I think now he's got another dyno on top of that, selling the old dyno and a bigger shop and a trailer and a new truck. And this man has just not stopped hustling for the past probably only 2 years. Probably his whole life, obviously. We all know that. But for the past 2 years solid, this man has been doing YouTube on the builds, taking the Chevy Stang to the track, taking his personal cars to the track, fixing cars, filming what he can, expressing himself wholeheartedly on video as we've just gotten to know Hunter, and he's kind of just being like, dude, I don't know where to go from here. And I got to tell you, I respect the hell out of you, dude. I love what you do. Awesome personality. You show your work. You know what you're doing, and you're just an awesome member of this community, man, and I would hate to see you burn out. So to know that you're just out there having fun and you want to take a break, do you, man? You've gotten a lot out of this. You've put a lot of heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears, the gambit out there, creating Hunter Tune, not just as a brand, but actually as your shop. And I think a lot of people look forward to that and want to that in their own life, and you actually made it happen, man. So hopefully you're watching this, and if you are, man, I support you 1000%, and I know there's a bunch of other people out there that do as well. Following that, we've got Keepgun and building the Kobe hatch. This thing is immaculate, guys. It is literally immaculate. And in the latest video, you actually see it start up for a little bit just so they can get everything running. The information that Aki drops in all of his videos is just insane. Well, whenever you watch the video, whatever you get out of it, you guys got to understand the way he's able to just talk about part numbers, parts, how he builds it, the wiring, getting the little shots that he can at all times to explain to you how he's doing things. And you just watch how clean all these cars that come out look. It's amazing. Like when you watch Official Nice One's channel and you see Jay Marsh's cars and you see Alpha K and you see Aki's car and you see all of these cars and you're just like, these are 10-second cars, minimum 10-second cars, 9-second cars, 8-second cars, getting into 7-second cars. They look like they could be and should be on the SEMA floor. And I love the fact that they're just pushing that like narrative of like, if you're gonna build a car, it can look as clean as this and it could be beat on. And there are cars out there doing 7 seconds, and if something happens to the motor, they can be swapped within hours back out there doing the same thing, and you wouldn't know. Because obviously if you're at the track, you don't want someone to know like, oh, we just swapped the motor, because you're trying to keep, you know, everything on the DL. But everything is so clean, meticulous, and put together with thought and that attention to detail that you wouldn't know. And these cars are just immaculate, and I really love this channel, your channel, Aki, because you're just showing that this isn't stuff that, you know, like you have to be super high-end to get. You could get all these parts. You just have to wait, make the right buys, make the right trades, do the due diligence, and all of this stuff could be yours. Yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, you know what I mean? You can't just get this stuff. You got to like save up. You got to make purchases. You got to be willing to make those moves. But when it comes down to it, everyone can have these cars. Everyone can make this happen. And it's just really awesome to see. You got one lift in a garage, homies, and you're just making it happen. And you're showing us part numbers, talking us through, and it's like chilling there, man. So keep gunning on YouTube. Keep gunning, obviously, on Instagram. Definitely check out these latest videos, man. This car is probably one of the cleanest I think you've built, man. All right, following that, we got 79th Productions, Justin out there, who is always making it happen with his latest video. Man, it hurt. It hurt to see the hail coming down on these cars, all the cars that you put a lot of time in, effort, that helped build the channel. Man, to see what the hail can do to cars is insane. Some of these were like golf balls, the hole, the hood, the trunk, the ceiling, the roof, not the ceiling, but just dimpled everywhere. The Integra in the backyard, man, like, I'm really sorry, dude. I hope things work out. And you know what, dude? I know you're gonna have a million content because, like, dude, I could see you just making a super sick video of just pulling out 700 dents out of a car and bringing that car back with a new paint job. And if that's not what you were thinking, man, you should do it. Following that, last but not least, we got Roads Untraveled doing a review of a 400 horsepower EK hatch with a B18C in it, putting down 350 or 400 horsepower to the wheels. And I like this because I love the fact that these Hondas are being reviewed on bigger channels. Now, this car has a lot of similarities, I guess you could say, from the Gears and Gasoline's car, because obviously EKs look awesome, and when built properly, they make tons of power, and they always look great, guys. EK hatches, man, it's great. Let's not pretend, right? But this is the video I was talking about. Started off talking about cheap. I don't like that. Look at the effort this guy put into his car. Look how much he smiles when he drives it. Look how much you smile when you drive it. That is why this car was built, not the cheap. But I get they're cheap. But we can move on from that topic now. It's 2020. We can move on from the Hondas being cheap topic. But definitely check out this video, guys. It's really awesome. And I love the fact that these bigger channels are now starting to review Hondas that are built really nicely and putting down a lot of power, because people are starting to understand that a B-Series is not something to scoff at, you know? I get K is the way. I get you can make a lot more with K. But man, let's not pretend like B-Series isn't still winning races, right? That's what I thought. All right, guys, with that said, that's it for this episode of the Honda Recap. Thank you for hanging out another week. How you all doing? Happy Father's Day yet again. If you all can do me a favor right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up and that bell so you're notified every Monday night at 6 p.m. when this comes out, West Coast time, where we sit down, hang out, do everything, talk Hondas, and, you know, have fun with that. Definitely hit up HondaVlogs.com/shop. Pick yourself up a shirt, hoodie, or sticker, or anything else you guys need to support the channel. I really appreciate everyone who has already. Every dollar cent helps me build my dreams and build this. So if you want to buy a shirt, I would love you literally forever. Yeah, I definitely would. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and leave a comment, guys. I love talking to you guys. It definitely helps the channel when you hit that thumbs up and when you leave a comment, because I can go in there, interact with you guys, and it shows that this video is actually becoming popular. The next couple of videos will bring the premiere back. I really want to see how that's doing, and I love the fact that you OGs, triple OGs are still here Monday nights, hanging out, watching videos. Means a lot. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.